Hey, my name is Chad. Welcome to this video. We are going to take a look at these props that I built over the last 2 weekends. So a little bit of history. Last weekend I started on this project, got everything cut up, and I was really hoping that by this coming weekend the mud would have dried up well enough that I could get down to my range. As it so happens, that's not going to be the case. Trying to find an angle I can get a little bit of light, but block off the road right here because we're actually on my front porch. But this is what we got to do sometimes when we get an abundance of rain. So over the last weekend, I got a little over 5 inches. And then throughout the rest of the week, I believe Thursday or Friday, started raining again. We got another near 3 inches. I think I checked my gauge and I'm about at 7.5 inches from last Saturday to this Sunday when I checked it. So 7 inches in a week's time, that is going to soak in and make all the dirt roads really muddy. So since I wasn't able to make it out to my range to practice, and I just found out that our next match is this coming Sunday, I believe the 17th, I decided I would just stay at the house and finish up my projects. So as you can see here on the 4x4 one, it is definitely sturdy. I'm confident enough to just let my rifle sit on it. My 2x4 one's a little bit wonky, and I can already tell that getting set up on it is going to be very, very tricky. But my plan is we're just going to give it a try, first attempts on camera. I thought of another idea where I brought my tripod out, and I thought if nothing else I can use this to try and practice the technique to use the tripod for rear support and see if I can learn that skill a little bit as well. But we're just going to try this for a little bit, see how it all works out. I want to show off the finished product to you guys and then see how it tests in practice. Obviously I've got cars driving by, so I need to be a little considerate and not try and freak anybody out by playing with a rifle in my front yard. Okay, so this is the porch under my other house that's next to the house that I live in. I pretty much just use it for storage and parking my truck under this portico just to keep it out of the weather. I collect extra pallets and things whenever I have a good one come through at work. Keep them stored behind me, a couple pieces of extra wood. I like to use them for different ideas that I get out at my range, and it never hurts to have a couple good pallets hanging around. So what I did last week was get all these side pieces attached, and I put some little brackets in here just to give it a little bit of support. Also glued these on. So from what I can tell over the week, it seems to have set up well and it's at least sturdy. I did take a sander and come through and rounded off all the edges, so I was more concerned about it poking splinters into my bag, and then when I'm in a match going to grab a bag and getting a splinter in my finger. So try to remove that possibility as much as possible. So you can see underneath here I've got some L brackets on the bottom and then some smaller ones here on the top, and the idea of that was just to let it have a little bit of extra weight support because my rifle is about 20 pounds. Bags are a couple pounds in themselves, so it needs to be able to hold a decent amount of weight. One thing I did not consider was how tricky it would be to get these legs on. So that's going to be my main error. As you can kind of see, this is a little wobbly. One thing I did not consider was going to be how narrow this is, and my good big heavy bag, obviously it's going to fit there, but it's so tall and kind of top heavy on something like this, it is going to want to fall off the side. So I don't think I'll be able to use my big bag on the 2x4 setup, but thankfully I've also got one of the pint size game changers. So this will be just about perfect to try and plop over here, get set, and see how it works. Now this is the 4x4 one. I made it a little shorter so I'd have some different heights to try and get down into a couple different position heights. And I think I did pretty decent. None of my support sides are at the same height. So between the two of them, I've got several different heights to work on getting into a position. I did the same thing with the bracket, small bracket on the top, big bracket on the bottom, glued them to the main upright. But I did take a little more time on the legs here, and it is quite a bit more stable. It's also quite a bit heavier, so there's a lot more to this one. Okay, so now we've got a little lull in the traffic. I've got my medium game changer. Let's just see, we'll try the more stable one first before we go over to the other one. So obviously the top position here, that's going to be an easy one to get into. Ooh, let's go ahead and turn on our level so we can get an idea if we're able to get a level position here. Okay. Now the fun part. Let's see if we can actually change positions. We'd want to pull off. See if we can drop down here. Oh yeah, this is going to be a challenge. Jumping side to side is going to be tricky too. Okay. So that's not going to give me any room to get into my normal hand position there. So getting set up is definitely the trickiest part. See how we can do it all the way down low here. I wanted to set this one up so I'd have to get down onto my knees. It's actually one of the easier positions for me. I'm a little bit flexible, but I don't do enough yoga, so I'm not super good, but I can get the job done. It's definitely nothing of a stable position, but that's kind of the point of this, is to get better at learning the unstable things where you've got to put in a little more work. Okay, so this is the pint size game changer. You can see it's definitely smaller than the other ones. I got this because I just wanted to have all of them and kind of test out the different sizes. But I haven't actually really used this besides my initial testing, where I decided the medium was the best way to go, at least for me. So this is definitely going to be much trickier. It is not as stable, and it's way narrower. So front to back is going to be a little harder. This is going to be a total cheat code with this bag. And we might try the tripod trick. So in PRS or NRL Hunter, if you're in a stage where you've got decent enough front support, but you don't have a good way to get rear support and you're really wobbly, if you have a tripod, you can position it so that your buttstock will rest on one of the legs, and you kind of pinch the stock to the tripod leg, and that lets you get a lot more stable position built using this as a rear support. I've got a little bag that goes on the stock that kind of angles so that you can get right up next to it and take out some of the vibration. I didn't bring that out today. It's just going to be kind of a test of idea, so we'll see how this goes, but I might need to pull this over and give it a try. So I think for this type of thing, I would want to start with my rifle up so that I can have good control of the bag with one hand, because I'm going to have to flare these little ears to get them to go over. So let's see, and time starts now. So yeah, getting good bag placement before trying to get your rifle on is going to be probably very important on something like this. Okay. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's considerably nervous right now, but let's see what we can do. Okay. Not going to be something I'm going to move through quickly, that's for sure. Okay. Ooh, yeah. So this is going to be a fun height. If I'm down on my knee to get my body stable, I'm more than likely facing too high up with my barrel to be able to get to a likely target. Obviously, I'm just aiming at the wall. So this would be a situation where you would want to pull over a tripod and you kind of wrap your hand around. Use your support hand to pinch the stock up against the tripod leg. So it's definitely stable. You're able to kind of go up and down the tripod to adjust your height. So we'll say target's right there. Get level. Whew. Definitely a little sketchy, but it is doable. Okay. We want to grab bag, drop down. Oh, that is not good. I just chunked my scope into the edge of the wood here, so I definitely don't have much room to maneuver, but so we're really doing a test to see how free Oklahoma actually is, because there's been several cars drive by, and I know a police officer lives one house over from me. So this could turn into an interesting night. We'll see how freaked out people are that are driving by. But hey, we're in Oklahoma, and I mean, this is my own house, so I should be able to do what I want. I don't know. Something I definitely never checked the city codes on. Hey, if you're crazy enough to take your rifle out on your front porch in the middle of town and just start doing some dry fire drills, you definitely want to get subscribed right down below here, because obviously you'd fit in really well with me. Well, let me know what you think down in the comments. Obviously, this is something just to be able to get some type of practice in on the back porch. The 2x4 one, definitely tricky and difficult. I mean, I don't know. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. Should I leave it where it's kind of wobbly? Definitely makes me work for it more. This definitely feels more sturdy and more like a prop you would see at a match, where it's not falling all over the place. So this is a little more realistic. Plus, I mean, even the 4x4, it's tricky to get set up on here, but it's definitely a lot more stable. So if you were going to try to build one for yourself, I'd recommend trying the 4x4 first. If you wanted to up the difficulty, 2x4, I'll leave it up to you. It is definitely challenging, we'll just say that. So, but the idea at least works, and I'm able to, you know, take them with me if I need to take them out to my range. No problem there. Load them up in the truck, and easy to take out and test out. So like I said earlier, our next match is coming up this Sunday the 17th. So I got my brass annealed last night, and I'm going to get it sized and mandreled this evening and drop it through my rice cleaning process, so I can get a little bit ahead on reloading all of my brass. I forgot to mention, at that last match, I lost one piece of my alpha brass. I have no idea how it happened. I know which stage it was on. At the end of the stage, I counted 10, I'm pretty confident, and put them in my pocket. Then when I go back to my little cart where I had my ammo novel and I was putting them back into its location, I only had 9 when I got back. So I walked around that place for another half hour after the match and I could not find it. Nobody has said they've found an extra unknown piece of 6 Creedmoor Alpha Brass. So I figure it's dropped on the ground somewhere there and I just didn't notice it that day. But having 99 pieces of a batch of 100 is driving my OCD totally insane right now. But I'm gonna try to work through it. So now that I got my brass initially prepped, we're gonna go ahead and get it started through the next stages, and hopefully I'll have all my ammo done before the night before the match, and I'll be able to prep a little bit. I'm not sure what kind of rifle work I'm gonna do. Everything seemed to be working fine, so I don't really think I need to have a lot of shots fired between matches. So I'm pretty much coming to this match fresh off the last match without getting any more time on the trigger. That's why I wanted to get this done so I can get a little bit of positional practice done this evening and just test out this idea. So I haven't heard any sirens yet, but I probably should stop pushing my luck and go ahead and get heading back inside. So thank you very much for hanging out with me for a little bit on this video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And do make sure and come back next week. I've got my MGM KYL rack showing up this week, and I may get that set up next weekend after the match. And if not, I'll put it off till the weekend after when I'm not going to be as exhausted, because I put it all out on there when we do these matches. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening and a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.